Welcome back to the Anachroschism. When we left off last time, the group had made a decision to come back that evening to the palace to meet with the Empress as requested by Her Grace herself. They were also setting up an attempt to scry for Grail's location, since she appears to have gone missing somewhere, some when, some why. Basically, the events of the day, as you guys kind of went back and forth trying to figure out what happened, all the stuff that happened in the morning, you're looking at about, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock by the time Tessian gets things settled and rejoins everybody at the Witch's Cauldron. So the question is there anything you'd like to do with that afternoon time, or just kind of rest up, take a breath, collect yourselves for a moment? Because it has been kind of balls to the wall ever since you arrived in Waychester in the dark hours of the previous day. But anything you guys wish to use that few hours for?
Do we have our own rooms?
That is a good question.
I can't remember if we shared rooms. Like,
I think we got 3.
I think we got
3.
3. It was
Okay.
one for Tessian, and then the ladies, and then Isaac and Karash. I think.
That sounds familiar. That might have been the way it was at a previous arrangement, but that sounds right.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
Let's rock it. It wasn't individual. I remember there was some kind of group rate thing, but I think 3 is right.
I got a quick question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
How common is literacy?
Pretty common.
Okay, so there's a good chance I've heard of a dictionary before.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go find a dictionary then, because I am specifically if I can find one that would be medically geared to start digging through my books that I found. I mean, borrowed.
Okay.
Chaotic, good's fun.
The lobby does have at least one bookshelf in it with a smattering of books that are available for just like borrowing when you're enjoying your time in the Witch's Cauldron. There does appear to be a dictionary. You're not necessarily sure it's going to be completely medically inclined, but it'll at least cover some of the stuff in there.
I'll ask around for a bookstore, see if I can't find something better. Oh, like legit, like I want to go try and buy one.
Mm-hmm. Person at the front desk, when you inquire about this, mentions that there is a bookstore in the upper quarter. Is that what that's called? Hold on. I feel like that's not what I think. Hold on.
I don't know. You tell us, God.
The Noble District. That's right. The Zenith District. I was like, that's not what that's called. That's Tales of Vesperia. There is a library with fine books in the Zenith District, and Waychester is known for its Royal Library, but there aren't any available in the area that's meant more for travelers or commoners.
It's fine. I'll go to the fancy pants area. I don't give a shit.
Okay. When you head to the Zenith District, there are a series of guards at the entrance to the area that deny you entry.
We don't serve your kind here.
I'm sorry. Okay. Do they do it politely or are they rude?
It's mostly politely, but it also looks like something they have to do frequently. But they essentially tell you that only nobles are permitted any further than this. Any other exceptions have to be granted elsewhere.
Where is elsewhere?
So, well, you have to talk to somebody either with the Empress or someone else in a high position that would be willing to grant you access to an area where commoners are not allowed.
Okay, I will go speak with the Empress again. Now wander off.
Okay.
I'll go talk to the Empress if I can.
You're going to head to the castle?
Yeah, I really want this freaking book.
I'm gathering that, yes. I will tell you, just in the interest of fast forwarding a bit, that when you go to request an audience with the Empress at the castle, you are also turned away.
Okay. All right, you know what? Can I just get a regular dictionary then? I'll do what I can.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to get a regular dictionary.
So you're able to take that back up to your room after a bit of wandering around town. Takes up maybe an hour of the time.
All right, I will start making an effort to study my fancy new toys then.
Okay.
What do the spirits booze look like here? Is it like the same as our world, or are they like fancy?
There are some that are similar on like a base level, like ale, but there are also the Witch's Cauldron in particular. I believe you guys grabbed a drink the first day. Has the Will of the Whisper that's available that they do warn you not to consume too much of.
I will get that.
Okay.
A whole bunch. To allow me
Oh.
to take it to my room.
Okay.
Sorry, I was asking if they do. Sounds like they do.
Yeah, you can take it to go.
Hell yeah.
They don't care about brown bagging it here.
Okay. So imagine by the time Crash gets back, Isaac is laying on the bed, just having his drink alone.
Seems about right. I'm just kidding. That's fine. I'm gonna sit down and start studying.
He looks
Okay.
at Karash enter, takes a drink, goes back to staring at the ceiling.
Are you going to do that all evening?
What's it to you?
Mostly just wondering if I should go find a bucket now or later.
You can do what you want.
I will find a bucket now.
Aw.
I'm gonna go find a bucket.
Okay. Easy enough to do. You can talk to the staff, and they have several extra ones for different cleaning purposes and whatnot. It's easy enough to give you one of those.
Maybe a jug of water.
Isaac, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Is orc aid a thing in this universe?
No, I mean there's some hair of the dog remedies, but that's only going to help once this is passed, not in the current moment.
Water it is.
Yeah. Even magic can work to some extent, but
God, this is taking forever. 13.
I think even lesser restoration can do some of that stuff, right? Like just
I
run of
think
the
so.
mill,
I have lesser restoration.
run of the mill
I mean-
drunkenness. I think.
I mean, it really depends on how you want to rule it, because like there's some shenanigans or oddities where suddenly drunken master monks are immune to being drunk. If getting rid of poisons makes you immune to the effects of alcohol, which just seems not correct somehow. So
Well,
I don't know.
But dwarves and some halflings are given the advantage against poisoning specifically for that reason. So
The question becomes if being drunk is the same as being like poisoned by your alcohol poisoning, or something along the lines. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You can decide.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's just fun.
Isaac, as Karash goes off to get the bucket, you're laying there, kind of looking up at the ceiling. You hold your hand out for a minute. It seems kind of like blurry. It's pretty funny. There's a minute there where you feel like you hear Grail's voice.
Okay. Like where?
In the
Coming
room.
from where? Does it seem like there's like a source, or like it's kind of disembodied, like around me?
Pretty disembodied.
Huh. I'll like
Just calls out your name.
kind of like sit up, listen. I'm aware I'm drunk, and I'm figuring like, is this just my brain playing tricks? Grail? It's just my
Nothing happens.
lay back down. It's clearly a sign I need more of this.
Aw.
A 13 was a success at this stage, for the record. So it seems like
At
you're
this stage.
shrugging off the worst of the effects to this point. Karash comes back in with a bucket.
I'm gonna lay that next to the thing. And did I find a jug of water too?
Sure.
A container. I'll put that beside the whatever nightstand or near the head of the bed, and then the bucket beside it.
Do you know I don't even have anything of hers, Crash? No keepsake, no memento, no goodbyes. Just gone.
You are speaking of Grail.
No, I'm speaking of Dabith, Karash. Yes, I'm speaking of Grail.
But you do have part of her still, and she may not be gone forever. You have your time that you spent and your memories.
That's awfully philosophical for you, Karash. I suppose you're right, but it's not tangible things, is it?
I do not understand why things are so important to mainlanders. We are less concerned where I come from with the objects, but we also live much, much simpler lives. So I do not know. Maybe you are more wise than me with regards
It would just be nice to have, is all I'm saying. Is just the memory. That's fine, but just feels like it's not enough. That's all. Don't listen to me. You're fine. I take another swig.
We are going to try to find her, Isaac.
It won't work. Not this. Not scrying or anything. We're gonna do with Empress or whatever her name is.
Oh, well, I will not try to tell you otherwise if you wish to believe that, but you should know that that will not be helpful.
I just kind of nod, take another drink.
You will feel better in the morning. I'm going to sit down and start reading.
What a role reversal. Studious bookworm Karash. Non-sober Isaac.
That's a weird world we live in.
Tessie and Lenny, you guys doing anything with this time?
Was this the time when I'm like setting all that stuff up, or am I back?
All that stuff.
Like, wasn't this the 2 to 3 hours where like Tessian was like talking and setting up all the meeting, or I guess it doesn't matter.
This is after, like, you came back to the Witch's Cauldron after the rest of the group, maybe like an hour, but yeah, that's already passed.
Oh, I mean, Tessian's probably just, I don't know, brushing off, cleaning his clothes out. He's gonna be the Empress, so he's got to look his best. So he's, probably prestidigitating his clothes and just making sure he looks all spiffy and good, and wants to put on him as many airs as he can, despite how strange things are. Probably grab a meal, just because it's been a long day. But no alcohol or anything like that. So.
Okay.
I don't remember if we actually stayed at the inn.
I thought we did, and then eventually we stayed in the prison, or the magic.
Okay. Cool. I would probably just head back to my room, and realizing that Grail is not there and that the room is completely empty, it kind of sinks in. So I will just sit on the ground and put my head on my knees and just think for a while.
Afternoon kind of passes. Everybody going about their business in their own ways, either occupying their time or not occupying their time. Eventually around 6:30 or so, word is sent over to the Witch's Cauldron. Not Frederick this time. He's busy. Just a more nameless grunt, which you gather is probably because all the important people are probably assigned to Faust Dryden detail. But somebody with the guardsmen does come over and essentially inform you that the time has come and the Empress is ready to see you if you will accompany him back to Abarrow Castle.
Tessian, I don't know who he talks to, but if he talks to Tessian, we'll gather everyone up, knock on every door, wake everyone up.
When I open the door, I'm kind of rubbing my eyes and I say, "Yeah, what is it, Tessian?"
It's time for us to go meet the Empress.
Ah, okay. I had lost track of time. Apologies. And my eyes are looking pretty red. I'm trying to rub the redness out, but they're looking a little red.
Very allergic.
All this noble air, it's disgusting.
Tessino kind of put a hand on Lena's shoulder. Lena, are you going to be okay?
And I think for a second, and I say, not yet, but I'll get there.
Very well. Just, look, we're moving forward. That's the most important thing. So, clean yourself up, and I'll grab the others. And I'll go. Yeah.
Yeah, I give you a nod, and then I run my fingers through my hair. That's how I brush it.
Yes.
You knock on our door, I say, "Come in."
Yeah, he just like pokes his head in. He's not coming in. Hey, it's time for us to go.
Tessian! Hey!
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Come have a drink.
Uh,
It's plenty here.
Isaac.
It's empty.
Isaac, please tell me you're not that drunk. We're going to meet the Empress.
I'm
he is
fine.
quite drunk.
Oh,
Crash! Sell me out, bro. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know what's interesting? People imbibe to dull the senses, and I realize it's not really what I'm doing here. It's more like responsible self-destruction.
that's fantastic. Look, are you going to be able to stand there with the Empress?
Where are we going? Depends, I think.
To the castle, Isaac. We're meeting the Empress.
No, you guys go. I'll catch up with you.
Hey Chris, would I? I'm assuming at some point in my time as essentially a sailor, I've tried curing hangovers and other drunken shenanigans with lay on hands. Does that work for me or no?
You can try.
All right, I'll try like 5 HP worth of lay on hands to see if that sobers him up at all.
No, what? Correct. No, stop.
I'm not giving you a choice here. I'm walking
What?
over to you and then
What?
touching you, and then
And I'm
it's
still like
game on.
resisting, but like ineffectively.
Remember, children, ask for consent.
And what's the point? Well, Tessian, what's the point? You know, I know, it's gonna be pointless.
Isaac, it's not about the scrying ritual. It's about everything else. We need to show the Empress that she can trust us to get the job done on anything else. There's still a conatus and everything else that's going on.
It's always politics. With you, I should have known. That's a good point. You're always thinking, though. Okay.
Hey, Tessie just looks to Karash and is like, can you help him at all?
And as Tessian is talking to you, Isaac, he has 2 mouths.
Yeah.
Make a
and
Constitution saving throw.
I'm slowly trying to bring the bottle back up to my mouth. Yeah, I'll do the Constitution saving throw. This is, yeah. Can't remember the last time Isaac got really drunk.
I don't know if it's happened ever.
6.
Plus 5 from the lay on hands is 11.
Sweet.
You, as Karash puts his hands on your shoulders and they glow momentarily, you feel like your stomach flips upside down.
Whoa.
The nearby bucket is at hand for Karash, who's also prepared for this from his time helping to cure people who were either drunk or seasick. And after expelling much of the afternoon's drinking into said bucket, you don't feel phenomenal, but you feel like you have a little bit more wherewithal, and most importantly, Tessian only has one mouth again.
She didn't deserve this. I just like laying, like on a toilet, you would like lay on it. I'm kind of doing that with the bucket.
Look, we're on a bit of a time schedule here. If you need to bring the bucket, bring the bucket. Just don't bring it into the hall itself.
I'll be fine. I don't need the bucket. I'll go along with the farce. I understand it's for appearances. I'll be fine. Let's just get this over with.
Look, Isaac, I know, and I miss her too, but we have to push forward. For her sake.
We do not know that she is gone. Isaac, get up. We are going.
I'm up. Let's go. Let's do the thing.
Okay, so we had to do the thing.
Okay. You guys make your way now on the now familiar path between the Witch's Cauldron and Abarrow Castle, one that you've now gone across almost a half dozen times, depending on who you are at this point.
I'm trying my best. How straight is my walking?
I was gonna ask how you were doing walking.
This is the problem with this particular remedy, is that you don't feel phenomenal. You have your wherewithal back, and you're not stumbling all over yourself, but a straight line is also not happening here. When you focus all of your efforts on it, you can keep it mostly together, but when your mind drifts to other thoughts, you kind of start slipping, and you just kind of move it just a little bit away from the group before you kind of realize.
I'm gonna hook my arm on your arm and then walk with you. And just make sure that you stay with us and don't like veer off to the side.
So your arm is hooked on my arm.
Yeah.
I'm going to hook my other arm on your arm too. So both arms are around your arm.
Okay.
Because you're like, yeah. Oh, no, actually, I think you're super tall. You're not actually like super tall. You're like 5'8".
Yeah, I'm 5'8".
She's only a couple inches shorter than you, but
I'll put my head on your shoulder for a little bit.
she's not a giant.
And I kind of just gently pat your shoulder.
Wait, she's 5'8", not 4'8"?
Yeah.
I've been calling you tiny elf this whole time for no reason.
Well, she's smaller than you.
I mean, I am very tiny still. I have height, but I don't have any muscle or anything. I'm
I
very
thought you were
fragile.
smaller than that.
No, Grail's the
That's
type.
Grail. She's like 3'5".
Grail is.
It's true.
Yeah.
Actually, now she is -6 feet.
Damn. Too soon.
Oh.
That is too soon.
You guys make your way to the castle, to the reception area, are waved through pretty quickly, and in a matter of minutes are led. This time, you've been going basically off to the side into that hallway, and then beyond that, either when dealing with Faust or when just going through the other parts of the castle you've been to. This time, you're led behind the reception area's desk, and brought to another series of long hallways. But the difference is, those other ones looked like they were going around the exterior in that kind of slightly curved path. This one heads straight up the gut, and the couple of rooms that you pass through behind the reception area are all huge. The hallways leading to the sides are both kind of tight and seem to be for more utilitarian purposes. They had a series of rooms that were for different purposes. This is, again, just the very definition of like opulence, where you have that same feeling you had in some of the other areas in town, where there's just very nice sculptures and art and fountains, and it's, for like Lena, it's the closest you've gotten anything resembling nature, and it's just because it's sort of quiet and serene, and the water sound sort of makes you briefly fool yourself into thinking you're not in the middle of a big city for once. There are a series of like plants with light shining through the ceiling onto them that can then grow in the courtyard here. It's rather nice. The person at the desk leads you back to these 40-foot tall doors that are, wide like doors at the base, but come to a point at the top. Picture the doors into the throne room in Kingdom Hearts at Mickey's Castle.
Yep.
Only these don't have a dumbass false door that's like 5 feet tall. They're just legitimately that big of doors. There are 4 4 Alabaster Cabal guardsmen standing outside, 2 on each side of the doors, who sort of eyeball the group as you approach, but seem to have been informed about why you are here, so make no moves or say anything towards you. And as the woman from the front desk pushes the door in, she says, "Well, be on your best behavior with the Empress. She has things set up for what you requested with the scrying as well. If you need anything, there will be people outside the door, but I'm told you're familiar with Cass. She is there as well. She should be able to help if you need anything."
Thank you. We appreciate it.
As the door swings open slowly, it takes considerable effort for a door of this size, but even though she doesn't seem especially strong, she is able to do it. You're not entirely sure how that works, but the door isn't grinding against the ground as it's pushed open. You get your first peek inside the throne room of Abarrow Castle. It is almost obnoxiously long. 50-foot ceilings. There are a series of pretty ample windows, but they're all high up on these walls, so as not to permit anybody from, like, if they were lower, first of all, they'd be looking in on the building, but secondly, it would also be a chance to kind of look in on what was happening inside the room. So they're way up by the ceiling, but they're pretty good size, and they're allowing in whatever's left of the fading light as the sun sets on the evening. There's a bunch of white pillars sort of meticulously and evenly placed on both sides of a deep velvet red carpet that leads up to the throne itself, which you can barely make out from this far across the room. But it looks green from this distance. There are a handful of other Alabaster Cabal guards smattered about this throne room, including a pair standing at attention up by the throne. And across the room, as you guys start to walk in, assuming you would like to walk in and not run away.
Yeah.
I just want to give you the out. I don't know. There is a woman seated at the throne. Long, flowing brown hair, past her waist at least. These deep red robes that look almost resplendent on her. They're like perfect in a way. Even though she is seated on the throne, there's like no creases on it, no abnormalities. It looks like extraordinarily fine cloth. And just approaching her, you get this calm aura from her. Like she seems in control of the room. It reminds you sort of the Duchess of Harnstead in the sense that, especially for like you, Tessian, this is nobility. This is the grace that, the refinement that leads someone to be referred to as their grace. The very example of nobility, and it just kind of emanates from her person effortlessly. She hasn't even moved or talked since you came into the room, but just her posture, the way she sits on the throne, her expression as you approach, all of it sort of screams this dignitas that only a select few can carry so effortlessly. As you approach, maybe get within, 60 feet or so, she says, "Oh, and by the way, you also see Cass standing to the right of the throne, maybe 15 feet away, but basically sitting at standing at the Empress's right side, behind the 2 Cabal guardsmen that are standing in front of the throne on each side." The Empress sees you approaching, and she says, "I bid you welcome. It is a pleasure to have the chance to meet you. I want to say up front, I'm very appreciative of your contributions in what happened today, and I am sorry to hear what happened to your companion."
And once we're like good and close,
Yeah.
because I don't want to have a conversation at 60 feet with the Empress.
Yes, Empress, it's nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, once they're good in close, Tessian will give like a bit of a head nod. He would bow, but we're having a conversation now. So he's just like, it is regrettable what happened to our friend, but we're willing to make any sacrifices necessary for the safety of the kingdom. They simply were not the sacrifices we thought we would have to make. Nonetheless, we were more than happy to serve, Your Grace.
There are several things that I would very much like to speak on, but... And now she kind of turns to the two Alabaster Cabal guardsmen standing closest to her. She says, "First, I would ask that you leave the room, take the others with you, and go." This gets a somewhat puzzled look from the two of them. One says, "Not to question your grace, but are you sure this is wise? These are strangers who we have not seen here before. We wouldn't want you to be exposed if there was some plot in the works."
That guy was assassinating nobles.
She says, "I appreciate your concern, but I can take care of myself, and I will have Cass remain in case anything untoward were to happen. But it is imperative that I speak to them in private, and as such, I am now ordering you to leave these chambers." You guys watch as there is a moment of hesitation where they kind of look at each other and they're like, but eventually one of them says, "As you wish," and the two of them head up that same velvet carpet that you guys approached on. You can kind of hear back down the hall a couple of muffled conversations where they seem to be telling the others to come with them, and eventually all six clear out. The door kind of closes behind them, echoes throughout this chamber that has very little noise proofing, and from all appearances, you have the throne room to yourselves and Cass.